What if an appliance emergency didn't have to be? If your appliances suddenly decided they were done, don't stress. Best Buy has you covered with a wide variety of major appliances from trusted brands, in stock and available now. So you don't have to worry about laundry piling up, refilling the fridge, or that big dinner party you're hosting. Because Best Buy has the knowledge and expertise to get you the right appliance for your home. Learn more at bestbuy.com. Best Buy. Imagine that.
Mic check. 1, 2. Are we recording? Hi, I'm Michelle Bernstein, an award-winning chef, restaurateur, and mom. I have a lot on my plate, including my psoriatic arthritis symptoms. That's why I was prescribed Cosentyx. It helps me move better.
Cosentyx secukinumab is prescribed for people 2 years of age and older with active psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some were fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur. Learn more at 1-844-COSENTYX or Cosentyx.com.
Ask your rheumatologist about Cosentyx.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. Enjoy complimentary access to the American Express Global Lounge Collection. And with a welcome offer of 150,000 points after you spend $20,000 on purchases on the card within your first 3 months of membership, your business can soar to new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum. Built for business by American Express.
This episode is brought to you by Polestar. There's only one true way to experience the all-electric luxury SUV Polestar 3, and that's to take a test drive. It can go from 0 to 60 in as little as 4.8 seconds with the dynamic handling of a sports car. But to truly understand how it commands the road, you need to be behind the wheel. Up to 350 miles of range, the 3D surround sound system by Bowers & Wilkins. It's all something you have to experience to believe. So book your test drive for Polestar 3 today at Polestar.com.
If you went on a road trip and you didn't stop for a Big Mac or drop a crispy fry between the car seats or use your McDonald's bag as a placemat, then that wasn't a road trip. It was just a really long drive. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's.
Hey, business owners, we know you know the importance of maximizing every dollar. With the Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business American Express card, you can make your expenses work just as hard as you. From afternoon coffee runs to stocking office supplies and even team dinners, you can earn miles on all your business expenses. Plus, you can earn 110,000 bonus miles for a limited time through July 16th. The Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business Card. If you travel, you know. Minimum spending requirements and terms apply. Offer ends 7/16/25.
Welcome to the HCI family of podcasts. We're your source for personal, professional, and organizational growth and development. We share our own original research, explore industry trends, and interview executives and thought leaders from across the globe. Join us for practitioner-oriented content around all things leadership, HR, talent management, organizational development, and change management. Maximize your personal and organizational potential with the HCI family of podcasts. Tim Ringel, welcome to the conversation today.
Hi, John. Nice to be here. Thank you.
It's great to be with you. You're joining us from New York. I'm south of Salt Lake City in Utah. And today we're going to be talking about improving employee experience. I think we've all been there. We've all been in organizations where the experience has been less than desirable. In fact, we may have even been in toxic climates, toxic cultures with toxic leaders. That's not a pleasant thing to have to deal with. It's not a great place to be. But there are many ways that organizations and how leaders can really dramatically improve employee experience, often with pretty simple low cost or no cost approaches and strategies. It's not rocket science, but it is hard because it takes consistency and it takes intentionality. Those are things sometimes that get lost in the fray of just the daily grind of trying to, produce your product or service and provide it out into the market. But it's through our people that we're able to accomplish those things. It's through our people that we're able to innovate and create great stuff to provide to the market. And so having that positive employee experience is really, really important. As we get started, I wanted to share Tim's bio with everybody. A company builder at heart, Tim is a serial entrepreneur and startup investor with a portfolio of over 50 companies, mainly in the digital technology space in Europe, the US, and Asia. His pre-IPO investment track record counts well-known names like Airbnb, Cobi, Kreditech, Mambu, Meet the People, on and on. My goodness, SpaceX, so many wonderful IPOs that you've been a part of in your portfolio. Tim is a frequent speaker at industry events around the globe and is an active supporter of entrepreneurial associations. Tim, great again to be with you. Anything you would like to highlight by way of your background or personal context before we dive on in?
I would say the other half of my career, if you want to.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Kind of coin it that way, or my experience, how I like to say, is being an investor in startups, as you mentioned. And some became household names and many of them failed, but lots of them also became household names like Spotify, Airbnb, that kind of everybody uses today, right? So I've seen a lot building companies from the inside out, from 2 people to, at the largest scale, 3,000 people. And I've seen a lot observing companies that invested into, who started very small and ended up being probably changers in the world and how we as consumers purchase products or operate with products or even industries. So I try to apply both experiences to what I build, because every company I have built, I've tried to improve not only the company itself, but also the people experience. And I think in the current company that I'm building, it's actually in the name. It's called Meet the People, because in our industry, in the advertising industry, and you might know this or not, or the audience knows this or not, it's probably one of the most exposed industry when it comes to tech hypes. Everything needs to be automized. Everything can be technologized. But in the end, an iconic logo that we know today, like the logo of Coca-Cola or Pepsi or many other brands, have not been created by a computer, has been created by humans who are highly creative. So I'm trying to remind our industry that technology is amazing and AI is amazing and machine learning is amazing and Google and Amazon. We use all of these platforms and all these technologies now every day. But in the end, we're still talking to humans behind the work, humans in front of the screen, and humans out on the street. So in the end, that's why I call the company Meet the People. So today we are 800 of us already after 2 years and 10 months. And we have big growth ambitions. I want to disrupt the industry we are in, the advertising industry, yet again. But disrupted a little bit differently now. Disrupted with a people-first culture, disrupted with a client and solution first culture instead of tactics, tech, and all the many shiny objects that we kind of like fall into thanks to the big tech platforms.
Yeah, well, I think that's great. And it's really interesting, as we were prepping for this interview, and I was looking over your bio and all of your experience and all the tech background, I really appreciate your approach, because it's very often that I'm having conversations with people in the tech industry where this whole idea of employee experience is almost completely lost on them. They're just like, no, we're focused on
innovative
building cool tech.
technologies.
Right.
We're focused on the cool tech, and people will come for the cool tech, or they won't. That's fine. And really, there's just no emphasis on improving employee experience, having that positive experience, almost a diminishing of even the value of people in the process. Everything you just described really upends that kind of framework that I think is super common in the tech industry. And I suppose there's a tension there, and which means there needs to be a balance, right? Like, of course, we're utilizing the tech, we're leveraging AI, we're learning how to automate all of those things, but we do it with a mind towards the people that are still involved in our organizations. We're not displacing everybody. It's not like robots and AI are taking over all the jobs. Like, we still need human beings to do a lot of the work and to prompt engineer and do all that kind of stuff. Like, we need good, smart, capable people. And if we don't have an environment where people want to be, where they feel supported, where they feel like they have, the opportunity to exercise their creative juices, and they just become, like controllers of robots, then I think we're going to miss the boat. We're going to miss out on a lot of the innately human potential of and contributions that come from the people within our organizations.
Well, I don't want to get too philosophical about it, but in reality, we have to remind ourselves that we are not producing products or technology just for the purpose of feeling good about it, that we produce something. That for a lot of people, inventors and engineers, that's often the motivation. I want to invent something that nobody has invented before. But in the end, if nobody uses it, it's worth nothing. So the human is still the application, in terms of we're building something to make life better, easier. I don't know, allow us to have more time for family. That should be the reason why companies build stuff. So probably if you would have asked me, I'm now 48 years old, if you would have asked me when I was 21, probably would have talked about something totally different, right? Because with decades comes wisdom or a different view on what matters in life. And as I said, this is my 5th company. So I realized that over the last couple of companies, no matter what product you're building, no matter what service you're building, if you create a positive work environment, and this is not a short-term game, like this is not like, oh, this quarter we're going to be cool, so the next quarter we're going to make profits, right? But if you consistently invest into your people, and I don't mean only monetarily invest, that's one part of the equation, but in the end, it's a quadrant, right? There's so many motivators why people follow leaders, why people sign up for work, why people come to work, why people want to build a product, why they believe in the mission. And I always say the worst employee, probably a useful one, but the worst employee is an employee who's only there for the money. If there's no motivation towards vision, leadership, brand, and an affinity towards those, that person is probably going to jump ship, no matter how great the work environment is going to be. So I think the best employee is a balanced employee who gets similarly motivated by money as that person does by being there with the people they work with. And you can only create that loyal environment if you are trying to be loyal to your people, and if you're creating a work environment where they feel elevated, supported, have a career path. I'm not saying we do all of this right. I think nobody really does. But we've made it our mission to improve every day a little bit and make that a real priority, because in the end, what I'm building here is a people's business, right? So we have, as I said, 800 people in our family here, in our sports team. And that's a lot of people to be responsible for. And it's a lot of people that create the basis to become 1,500 people or 2,000 people, right? So I think it's often an overlooked part of building business. Why? Because once you're really big, and we are not really big yet, but once you're really big, the financial goals usually tend to overarch what the goal of the company and the mission of the company was, right? And that's where many stock market listed companies fall into. And I've seen this with companies I invested into pre-IPO, where the culture just changed dramatically, because all of a sudden the CEO can't just be good to his people or their people because, oh, I have a 10-year plan here, right? And we execute against it. No, this is quarterly results, pressure from analysts, shareholders, stakeholders, the board. So it makes the listing of companies makes companies think extremely short term, and this is what we then call like the corporate death trap, right? Where you're like in the job because you get paid well, you're not happy, but you're staying because you have a mortgage, you have credit card debt, you have an auto, right? Like you kind of get trapped in that. And I think if I'm building a company, I can only speak for myself. We need to create an environment where people, like are happy to work and they're going to produce better product, better outcomes, long-term relationships with clients, and ultimately more profit for the company.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that. There's so much research on this about those positive bottom line outcomes for organizations that focus on people. So set aside the human case, like just valuing people as innate, individuals who deserve our value, but set that aside and just say what makes the company more profitable, what produces better products and services. It's when you focus on people that will happen. But you're right, it's a long-term game. It's not short-term. There's all sorts of things you can do in the short term this quarter to make your earnings reports look better, to reduce labor costs. All of that then though has long-term implications that then you're going to have to unwind and work back from later. And so that's the game, and that's the tension. Like it's really hard. It's frustrating. I feel for corporate leaders who find themselves in that trap on the one hand. On the other hand, I'm like, we can do better. Like we know better. And we're playing into the system.
Exactly. And I see this when we talk to our clients. So we work for very large brands and we work for mid-sized brands, all kinds of large tech companies, IBM, Google, LVMH, LG, L'Oreal. These are all clients of us. And we try to remind them why they're doing things. And it comes back to, again, the people. Like, you're not creating a new lipstick just for profit. You're creating a new product because you think it's going to help. That should be the intention. You think it's going to help people to live a better life, right? And lots of them have that in their slogan. Nike has just do it, right? LG has live better. And like, it's part of the brand narrative. So let's live that as well in the way how we communicate to consumers, not only internally to our employees, but also how are we taking consumers for a ride? Are we not taking them for a ride? And the beauty in my industry is that social media, despite the fact that there's a lot of, anger on social, right? Because people can anonymously kind of bash people or things or brands or products, there's also a lot of truth there. So we're teaching brands to not be scared of customer reviews and customer feedback, because if you really take it at heart, it's going to make your company better and your product better. So that's like, we always ask the question, why are you doing things? You're sending us this brief. You want to, redo your website, blah, 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 whatever it is, or launch this campaign for this particular product. Why are you doing this? Are you doing it for profit? Are you doing it because you think your product is better? Are you doing it because you want to gain market share? And very often channels like social are very good channels to test things, to test messaging, test products, what actually resonates with people. Because 20, 30 years ago, it would be spaghetti on the wall, right? You like a company would invent a product, they would put it in a shelf, either it flies or not, and within a few months it's canceled or not because people didn't grab it. There was no feedback channel. Now you have a 24/7 feedback channel that goes for internal, but it also goes for external, right? So we're shifting, we're trying to teach brands to shift the paradigm when it comes to, there is enough signals out there, how to be a better communicator, how to be true to your brand, how to be authentic with your brand and your products, listen to the people, use technology to make it better, and then give it back to the people. That's the idea.
Yeah, absolutely. So with this tension and with, some people would say it's contradictory, it's incompatible, but how would you say we can better utilize technology more humanely for that better employee experience?
Yeah, let me make a very simple example. Let's presume, and I'm not talking about a small company where the founder or the leaders know all their employees, because I always say, like, I had probably the best time running a business when we were 50, 60 people. Why? Because I would walk into the office. That was obviously pre-pandemic, long time ago. You walk into the office and you literally know everybody. You know the person, you know what they do, you know their partners, you know the name of their children, you know the name of their pets. you care. And that usually creates an extremely great work environment culturally, as well as from a profitability perspective, because this is it's beyond a job. It's like a sports team, right? Where everybody knows we work together, we really care about each other. So how can technology help us? The problem with larger organizations is that it's extremely anonymous. It's hierarchic, and you have no idea who works there. Like, I have 800 people. We have created a platform where everybody in the organization can see everybody in the organization. And that is technology based. It's like a SaaS platform. You log in, you have all your employee items there, your whatever, like your W-2, your taxes, your payroll, your paycheck, all insurance, all this kind of HR necessary stuff. But you also have a social stream and can dive deeper and look into every organization of my organization and can reach out to everybody, no matter which level, no matter who they are. You see what they work on, you see what their work experience is, you see what they care about. It's all opt-in, right? It's all self-identification. People post things about their children, their pets. They post things about their life. And that in itself creates already a work environment that's way more humane. Instead of like, oh, well, I know we have 799 other employees in the organization. I know my boss, I know my 5 colleagues, but that's it. I don't identify with anyone else. So we're trying to change that, utilizing technology and bringing people together in a virtual world where, a lot of people anyways don't come to office, right? So you have to recreate, and that's one of the missions. We have to recreate the office experience without being in the office. And nobody has really cracked it, but we're trying our best utilizing technology to get there. And I'm a big believer, and then I'm going to stop blabbering about, but I'm a big believer in chemistry in person, because you walk into a room and you feel something. You feel either this is a good room, is a bad room. There's positivity, negativity. You know this. Like I always describe it. I come home into my house and I know what's going on. You sense it immediately, right? And then you can steer the conversation and empathize and have empathy towards the people who might be in trouble, because the worst people in the meeting are the people who are distracted because they're stressed about something. And some companies have this rule like, we can't do this virtually because it takes too much time. But I really like it when you do an offsite, or when you do a leadership meeting, or you bring a group of people together who are new to each other, that first of all, you let them express what's on their mind, right? This is a tactic to kind of be more efficient. You let them for 15 seconds talk about, is something on your mind that is troubling you so much that you can't focus right now? Do you want to go and solve it first and then come back? That's option number 1. Or do you want to share it with us? And it costs like 5 minutes before you start. Do you want to share it with us so we can help you get through it? And then you can focus on the work, right? That's a typical tactic that's out there, where that's really appreciated by employees as well. Yeah, and just some examples. How you can change the whole sentiment of conversations. Obviously I can't know all of the people I work with technically, right? I just can't. I can't meet them all in person. But before I go to a meeting where there's a lot of people I don't know, I go onto our platform and try to understand who they are. So you relate. I think it's important.
No, I completely agree. I think those are great examples that really helps put a fine point on like, nobody here is suggesting we put our heads in the sand, pretend like the technologies don't exist, or try to go back to the day, some it's never going to happen. Some fictitious like previous time when everything was utopia. Like, that doesn't exist. Like, it wasn't utopia back then, and we can't go back either. Like, we have to learn how to use the tools and embrace the tools that we have, but do it in a humane way. Use it in a way to leverage the human capacity of the people that we have. So those were great examples that you just provided. Another aspect of this that I think is really important to the employee experience is creating a sense of belonging within your organization. And like you said, that can be extra challenging when you have a lot of remote or hybrid people, where you don't have, it's like you said, if I'm in the room with somebody, I may not like that person. I may have an argument with that person. I may be really frustrated or whatever, but it's one thing to connect virtually. It's a different thing to be sitting across the table from that person in person and to have human interactions, and that breaks down a lot of barriers.
Totally.
And so it's possible to have a really dynamic, really healthy organizational culture focused on the employee experience in a remote environment. That's possible, but it's hard. You have to be intentional about it. And you have to build in mechanisms to make sure that those opportunities occur for people to have real, meaningful interactions in some of the ways you just described. Yeah.
And we all know this feeling where you sometimes in your job, but also personally, you sometimes have to have a frank conversation with people, right?
Yeah.
And if you do it on Zoom, you switch off and it still stands there. It kind of hovers. But if you're in person, this is why I motivate, especially young talent, to come into office a few days a week. You learn when you make mistakes. You learn when you have a frank conversation, but you can fix it on the way out of the room. You know what I mean? You can still, like, a simple handshake or a simple pat on the back, or like, listen, everything's going to be okay. Like, that goes a really long way when you have to have a strong or frank conversation. And that is very difficult virtually. It's also very difficult to help people because everything is pre-scheduled. So you can't just walk over to a desk and say, well, are you struggling? Can I help you with something? I have 5 minutes, right? Like, that is gone. So again, you're absolutely right. We're not going to go back to how it was pre-pandemic. So we have to adjust our approach, but we should not forget that technology is not going to solve the fact that we are human beings who are flawed and who need support. And if you're alone at home in your studio apartment 5 days a week and you work remote full time, it's extremely difficult mentally, and it's extremely difficult to create any identification with the company or the people you work with and for. So I highly encourage people to try to build those relationships, even if they're over coffee. Also, I think it's a career advantage if people care, right? It's a career advantage, I think. So yeah, that's some of the things that the belief systems that we're trying to implement. Another system that we recently implemented, and I like to make these examples because they're not rocket science. They're like, they're actually pretty doable. So one is to create a platform where everybody can come together, where people can share their personal and their professional lives. So we start relating, because you don't have the moment where you can cheer in office. We want a client, amazing, everybody's hugging. That's not happening anymore, right? So you have to do it virtually, and you can't just, schedule a Zoom. Oh, let's, do it like cheers for 15 minutes. These times happened in the pandemic. Nobody wants to do this anymore. So another way how I'm trying to crack it is, we want to incentivize people to collaborate, because collaboration comes difficult if you're not in the same proximity, especially with us having people in probably 40 out of 50 something states, right? So we've created this platform where people receive virtual tokens, coins, dollars, equally from myself. I received the same, like the intern who just started, right? We all receive the same amount of currency every quarter, and you can't spend that currency that you receive from the company. You can only distribute it by giving people kudos or celebrating their birthday, celebrating collaboration, and celebrating their successes. Once you have received it from someone else, you can spend it. So that is extremely interesting, and you can spend it, in our case, on Amazon vouchers, Apple equipment, swag. You can spend it on travel. You can spend it on accommodation, flights, groceries, whatever you want. It's like an extra, look at it as like a little bonus you get every quarter. But you can't spend the bonus the company gives you. You can only transfer it to others. And once they transfer something back to you, you can spend that. So, and we're doing that. And it's not really about the monetary aspect. It's not a lot of money. It's like $40 a person a quarter, or $100 a person a quarter. So it doesn't change materially the monetary aspect of it, but it encourages people to connect, reach out, celebrate each other, share teamwork, and just be good humans. Because there is a benefit to it. And we have seen that a lot of people actually redeem these coins into their daily shopping needs, their Whole Foods, their grocery shopping. Sometimes even when there's holidays coming and you need gifts for your children, people buy toys with these coins. It's really interesting to see, right? So it becomes, again, like, I'm not calling a company a family, because that's wrong. You can't get rid of a family member if that family member is a complete Okay, I could say bad words, but you know what I mean. Like we all have this uncle or that is just terrible. So a family you can't divorce. You can, but you know what I mean. A sports team works like a family, but people change. Why? Because they just don't make the team, right? So I want to operate a business like a sports team that cares about each other and incentivize each other for doing great and being successful. And I'm hoping these platforms going to help us there.
Yeah, I love it. Those are just great examples, Tim. Tim, it has been a pleasure. I note the time. I need to let you go here in just a minute. But before we wrap things up for today, I wanted to give you a chance to share with the audience how they can connect with you, find out more about your work, your team, and then give us the final word on the topic for today.
Oh, absolutely. So again, companies meet the people. We are hiring. We love people. It's in the name. We're 800 people right now. We're going to be probably 1,200 people in a year's time. So it's an exciting story. You can find me on LinkedIn, Tim Ringel. On LinkedIn is the easiest. I deleted all my social apps besides LinkedIn. I have to out myself on the 31st of December of last year because I realized it's too much of a time suck and I'm not spending enough time with my people instead, right? So you find me on LinkedIn. You can email me, tim@meetthepeople.com, and you can follow us, the company, on all kinds of social channels to get a little bit of a better idea what we're doing. And in the end, I would say my takeaway is a company can only expect that their employees are good to them if they're good to their people. That goes for companies and employees. That also goes for your customers. If you don't care about your customers not going to care about you. So what are you doing for your customers so they do something for you? And that goes for every human, really, no matter if it's an employee-employer relationship or it's a brand and customer relationship. And I recently said this on stage somewhere, and that was the one quote that people then in the end started twittering, right? So think about why someone should love your brand, and you should love them back for it.
I love it. Tim, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure. I encourage the audience to reach out, get connected, find out more about what Tim and his team can do for you. And as always, I hope everyone can stay healthy and safe, that you can find meaning and purpose at work each and every day. And I hope you all have a great week. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the podcast. We hope you stay healthy and safe, and please join us again soon.